Hey everyone, it's Tomek from Soccer Bedtime Stories. I'm so glad you found us here. Before the story starts, I wanted to ask you a favor. Soccer Bedtime Stories is an independent podcast made possible by listeners like you. If you are a returning listener, I would like you to consider joining Soccer Bedtime Stories community by becoming a member. You can click on the link in the podcast description or by visiting soccerbedtimestories.com. For as little as the cost of a coffee per month, you can ensure that the show continues and remains ad-free and accessible to fans all around the world. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy the story, and I hope you reach out on Instagram and MySoccerBedtime or at soccerbedtimestories.com. I hope you enjoy this story. Sleep well and dream big, soccer friend.
Hello, soccer friend. As the stars twinkle above and the world settles into quiet, let's journey together to a special place where dreams begin. Not in a stadium or a city, but in the breathtaking highlands of Ethiopia. Imagining rolling hills and endless skies where fields stretch wide and children play barefoot with makeshift soccer balls. It's here, in a land full of resilience and hope, that the roots of an extraordinary story were planted. Tonight, we'll follow the inspiring journey of Naomi Girma, a defender whose calm, graceful presence on the pitch has made her a rising star from both the San Diego Wave and the U.S. Women's National Team. Born in San Jose, California, and raised with the values of her Ethiopian heritage, Naomi's story is one of strength, loyalty, and the unshakable belief in what's possible. From her father's incredible journey across the Ethiopian highlands to find safety, to Naomi's first touches of a soccer ball in neighborhood parks, to the professional fields where the grass is green and the crowds are loud, this is a tale of how family and community can shape a dream into reality. So settle in, soccer friend. Let's explore how Naomi's journey took her from the fields of her childhood to the biggest stages in world soccer, where she can now shine as a role model for young players everywhere. This is a story of courage, connection, and love for the beautiful game. Naomi Girma, from Maleda to Chelsea, the defender who inspires. Naomi Girma's father, Girma Aweke, grew up in the Ethiopian highlands. His childhood was one of simple joys. He played barefoot in the dirt with his friends using balls made from pressed leaves or wrapped socks. But as he grew older, Ethiopia faced a devastating dictatorship that tore his country apart. In his late teens, Girma was forced to flee his homeland on foot, seeking safety in Sudan. The journey was harrowing. At one point, Girma fell ill with malaria and collapsed. Strangers in a small, thatched farmhouse took him in, nursing him back to health with cool cloths, coffee, and warm meals. "They taught me the power of community," he often says. "You can never let go, and you can never forget the people who help you." Eventually, Girma made it to Sudan, and through perseverance and the support of the United Nations became one of 5,000 refugees sent to San Francisco. He worked as a dishwasher and a busboy while paying his way through college, eventually earning an engineering degree. In the Bay Area's Ethiopian community, he met Sebe Demisi, a determined young woman who had emigrated on her own to pursue her education. Together, they built a life rooted in resilience, hope, and deep love for their culture. They had 2 children, Nathaniel, born in 1997, and Naomi, born 3 years later, 2000. Naomi grew up in San Jose, California, surrounded by the warmth of her Ethiopian community. On Saturday mornings, families gathered at the park to barbecue, talk, and watch the kids play soccer. Her father, who had grown up playing the game in Ethiopia, founded the Maleda Soccer Club, a name that means dawn in Amharic. For Naomi, those early days with Maleda weren't about pressure or competition. They were about joy. Kids were divided into groups by size, big, medium, and small, and games were played barefoot in the grass. The parents cheered, laughed, and shared stories. It was the least stressful introduction to soccer you could imagine. But even then, it was clear that Naomi had something special. Her father, known as Mr. Midfielder for his skill and endurance, recognized her natural instincts. When the family played together in the yard, he noticed how effortlessly Naomi moved, how she seemed to understand the game in a way that went beyond her years. When Naomi was 9 years old, her best friend invited her to join a local club team called Central Valley Crossfire. Naomi showed up to practice with her shin guards awkwardly strapped over her socks, clearly unaware of the proper way to wear them. It was her first step into the more formal world of soccer. There were plenty of nerves. Her friend Jenna, who had invited her, glanced at Naomi and quietly wondered how her friend would fare. But when Naomi stepped onto the field and the ball found her feet, all doubts vanished. Naomi didn't just play, she dominated. She weaved between defenders with grace and control far beyond her age, leaving the other players in her wake. She had natural instinct for the game, effortlessly moving through space and reading the play before it happened. The coach could hardly believe his eyes. For Naomi, those first weeks with Central Valley Crossfire weren't just about learning the game. They were about finding her place in a new soccer community. Practices were as much about playing as they were about bonding. She shared ride with her friend Jenna, squeezing into the small backseat of her friend's grandparents' pickup truck. They sat laughing and talking about everything from soccer to school. In those moments, the sport became more than a game. It became a way to connect, to grow, and to belong. The season would mark the beginning of a new chapter for Naomi. Soccer was no longer just something she played with her family on weekends. It was becoming something bigger. And though she was still figuring out how to strap on her shin guards correctly, her incredible potential was already clear to everyone who watched her play. As Naomi's skills developed, she steadily moved up to higher level teams, proving herself at every step of the way. Coaches and teammates alike noticed something different about her. She didn't rely on flashy moves or brute strength, but instead played with a calm precision that set her apart. She had a natural ability to anticipate plays before they happened, positioning herself perfectly to shut down attacks or intercept passes. Her movement was smooth and calculated. She was always a step ahead of everyone else on the field. What stood out most was Naomi's intelligence and composure. Even under pressure, she never panicked. If her team was pinned back on defense or trailing late in a game, Naomi's steady presence brought a sense of control to the field. She wasn't the loudest voice in the group or the most physically dominant player, but her quiet confidence made her a natural leader. When things got tough, teammates looked to Naomi, not just because of her talent, but because she always seemed to know what to do. Rising through the competitive soccer world wasn't without its challenges. As one of the few black players in our league, Naomi often felt like she stood out in ways that weren't always comfortable. She sometimes felt the weight of being different, of having to prove herself not just as a player, but as someone who belonged in new spaces. Yet through these moments, Naomi leaned on her family and the strong Ethiopian community in San Jose. They reminded her of her worth, of the sacrifices her parents had made to give her those opportunities, and of the rich culture that was her foundation. At 14, Naomi reached a turning point when she was called up to the U.S. U14 national team. For a player who hadn't come from one of the elite ECNL clubs that many of her peers represented, this was a huge moment. At first, she worried she might not belong. National team camps were filled with players who had been scouted from the most prestigious clubs, players who seemed polished and confident. Naomi, coming from a smaller local club, wondered if she could keep up. But as soon as the games began, she realized something. Soccer was soccer, no matter the setting. Once the ball started rolling, it didn't matter where she had come from, her instinct, skill, and intelligence carried her. She quickly proved that she belonged, rising through the youth national system with ease. Each time she stepped onto the field, her confidence grew, and by the time she joined the U20 national team, she was captaining her squad and becoming a leader among her peers. Despite her success, Naomi stayed grounded. She often reflected on how far she'd come from playing barefoot in the park with Maleda Soccer to standing shoulder to shoulder with some of the best young players in the country. And yet, she never forgot the sacrifices her family had made for the community that had supported her every step of the way. When it came time to choose a college, Naomi knew she wanted more than just a place to play soccer. She wanted a school that would challenge her academically too. Her parents had always emphasized the importance of education, and Naomi herself valued learning as much as she valued her time on the field. For her, Stanford University was the perfect fit. Not only was it one of the best academic institutions in the country, but its soccer program was also one of the most competitive in the NCAA. At Stanford, Naomi's growth as a player and as a person reached new heights. As a freshman, she quickly established herself as a starter on a team stacked with talent. But it was during her sophomore season that she truly came into her own, leading Stanford to the NCAA championship in 2019. As a team captain, Naomi wasn't the type to give fear speeches or dominate the huddle. Instead, she led by example, fostering a sense of unity and trust among her teammates. Her calm presence on the field and her ability to bring people together off it made her an invaluable leader. Winning the national championship was a highlight of Naomi's college career, but her time at Stanford wasn't without setbacks. During her junior year, she tore her ACL in training, a devastating injury that sidelined her for months. For many players, an injury of that magnitude can feel like the end of the road. But Naomi approached her recovery with the same calm determination that defined her play on the field. She used the time to grow in other ways, focusing on her studies and exploring new opportunities. While recovering, Naomi was accepted into Stanford's prestigious Mayfield Fellows program, which taught students about leadership and entrepreneurship in Silicon Valley. It was a demanding program, but Naomi thrived, learning how to think critically, collaborate with others, and approach challenges with creativity. These skills translated seamlessly to her role as a leader on the soccer field. By her senior year, Naomi was back on the pitch, stronger and more focused than ever. She played every minute of the season, earning accolades for her defensive prowess and leadership. She also completed her degree in symbolic systems, a field that blends computer science, linguistics, and psychology. Balancing the academic rigors of Stanford with the demands of playing in one of the top soccer programs in the country was no easy feat, but Naomi had never been one to back down from a challenge. Naomi's hard work paid off in a major way in 2022 when she was selected as the first overall pick in the NWSL draft by the San Diego Wave. It was a historic moment, and Naomi approached her professional career with the same composure and determination that had defined her journey so far. From her very first game with the Wave, Naomi made an impact. She played every single minute of the season, anchoring the defense with intelligence, precision, and calmness under pressure that bellied her rookie status. Her ability to read the game and anticipate plays made her a nightmare for opposing forwards, while her quiet leadership helped her teammates stay organized and confident. By the end of the season, Naomi had made history once again, becoming the first player in NWSL history to win both Rookie of the Year and Defender of the Year in the same season. Her incredible debut year wasn't just about individual accolades. It was about success of her team. Naomi was instrumental in helping the Wave secure a playoff spot in their inaugural season, proving that she wasn't just a rising star, but a game changer. Her success in the NWSL also paved the way for her rise on the international stage. Naomi was called up to the U.S. women's national team, where she quickly became an integral part of the defense. At the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, she played with poise and maturity beyond her years, helping her team advance deep into the tournament. But it was at the 2024 Paris Olympics that Naomi truly cemented her status as one of the best defenders in the world. Throughout the tournament, Naomi played every single minute, showcasing her trademark calmness and intelligence. In the final match against Brazil, she was a key part of a defense that shut down one of the most dynamic attacking teams in the world. The game was tense, but the U.S. came out on top with a 1-0 victory, earning Naomi her first Olympic gold medal. Naomi Girma's journey is far from over, and her story continues to break barriers and inspire soccer players around the world. After establishing herself as one of the brightest stars in the NWSL with San Diego, and making her mark on the international stage with the U.S., Naomi made headlines once again, when, in the beginning of 2025, she became the most expensive transfer in women's soccer history, signing with Chelsea FC for a world record fee of $1 million. The transfer sent shockwaves through the soccer world. Chelsea, already one of the top clubs in the world, had been closely watching Naomi's rise, particularly her performance at the 24 Paris Olympics. For years, defenders had often been overlooked in the spotlight compared to goal-scoring forwards, but Naomi's move shattered that perception. Her calm presence, unparalleled game-reading ability, and leadership on the pitch made her worth every penny. The transfer fee, exceeding $1 million, symbolized more than just Naomi's individual value. It was a turning point for women's soccer, highlighting the growing investment in the women's game and the recognition of its top talents. For Naomi, it was a chance to take her career to new heights, playing in the Women's Super League alongside some of the best players in the world. Naomi Girma's story, from the parks of San Jose, San Francisco, to the global spotlight of Chelsea, is a testament to resilience, vision, and community. She's redefined what it means to be a defender and paved the way for a new era in women's soccer. all the while staying true to her roots. As you settle in tonight, soccer friend, remember Naomi's journey. Whether your dream is to score goals, create art, or build something meaningful, her story shows us that with hard work, courage, and the support of others, anything is possible. Sleep well and dream big, soccer friends.
Thank you for joining us on this enchanting journey through the world of soccer bedtime stories. As we reach the end of this episode, I want to express my gratitude for your presence and support. Your engagement means the world to us, and we invite you to become an integral part of our vibrant community. Make sure to subscribe and follow. This will not only keep the magic alive, but also help shape the stories we bring to you. We're eager to hear your feedback, suggestions, and the topics that ignite your passion. Feel free to reach out to us at soccerbedtimestories@gmail.com. Together we'll create a community that celebrates the magic of the beautiful game. Now, sleep well and dream big, soccer friends.